Now, outsiders dishonor our shores, and we have stood by, doing nothing!
Welcome back, you filthy exiles, and we have one last curation video to go before the league start. And this is a selection of another 5 builds that you could select at league start to give a go. Some of these are some theory crafting, some are builds that have been sort of operated in the last league and work pretty damn well. And yeah, I thought it'd just be another list of options that you could exercise to basically make your life harder before the league start, because obviously the best way to pick a build is 5 minutes before the league start hits. But anyway, let's get into the video, and make sure that you like and sub to the people or the creators that I'm going to feature on this list. And yeah, they're all pretty decent guys. Anyway, so let's get into 5 more potential ideas that you could play in the 0.3 Path of Exile 2 League. Okay, so the first build I'm going to feature on this list is from Anime Princess. Now, obviously, I've featured Anime over many different leagues, and he's pretty much the best when it comes to like Arc or Spark sort of build setups. And yeah, this is basically what he's going with for his league starter. So he's going with an Arc Stormweaver. Now, he does have a Mobalytics link in his video as well. The beauty of this one is Arc is now getting the ability to be called, well, it's getting the projectile tag, which means it's getting a huge amount of buffing because it'll synergize with projectile-based buffs and or support gems and weapons and gear and things like that. Basically what this means is this is a huge power boost to skills like Arc. And Anime has a full detailed brief on how he's going to totally take advantage of this, as well as obviously being able to pick up remnants and things like that, and infusions that we're getting into the 0.3 league, which is going to totally change how builds work, in particular spellcasters. This is probably a really good option if you just want to go for like a just straight up spellcaster, run in and blast everything. And Anime has a really good video which covers off on this and goes into all the patch changes, notes, all the stuff like that that will affect the build. And then basically a full Mobalytics breakdown with the skill pathing tree, skill setups, and everything else that you'll need to basically get it to work. His setups are like his explanation in his Mobalytics is exceptional. So it basically has the full synergy breakdown of how all the skills link together and bossing setups and all that sort of stuff. But anyway, yeah, make sure you check out his guide if you want to play something that's using Arc, and don't forget to drop by his channel and drop him a like and a sub as well. Okay, so for the next one, we're actually going to feature one from Ronaray, and Ronaray's been around making builds for quite some time. Now, with this one, I actually saw a build concept that used Staggering Palm on the Deadeye, which ran unarmed from the last league, which is a really cool concept, but I don't believe anyone fully fleshed it out until now. Now, obviously, with the inclusion of Hollow Palm into the game, this is basically setting off a new, hopefully, meta where people are going to go full-blown unarmed combat. I really do hope that they do put face breakers into the game, but for now we have Thunder Fist making its way into the game. Now, obviously, in Ronaray's video, it's a bit of a concept video because we can't test this practically at this stage, but he does run through all the early leveling setups, basically moving into melee from early leveling, but explanation about using marks to proc up further damage, and obviously the Deadeye Ascendancy Order. There's the obvious thing here is you get Tailwind with the Deadeye as well, which gives you increased attack speed and evasion from memory. So it does make the Deadeye a very like pickable Ascendancy at the end of the day. Now, the other thing he does have is a full-blown Mobalytics link going through all the details. Now, he does very clearly note that this is a work in progress, so he's got a bit of an idea and concept there, but this is something that's going to take some time. Now, he does sort of have a bit of a tree going on with Unarmed Wave and things like that, but yeah, there's still a fair bit of work that has to go in to figure out how this actually works. But it's a really cool concept, and I think builds like this will really make Path of Exile 2 one of those games with a great build variety. And hopefully what we'll see in this league is that we get a game that you can pretty much set any build up and it's going to work pretty okay into the end game, and exceptional builds will pop off once you start investing into them, which I think is a really good way for a RPG to approach builds. It's very much in line with what Last Epoch does, and it'd be great to see Path of Exile 2 take that path as well. But anyway, yeah, make sure you stop by Ronaray's channel and check out his video, and drop him a like and a sub. And yeah, this will be number 2 of this list. Okay, so the next one is a Titan. Now, obviously, there's a bit of controversy about warriors. I myself am going Windblast Warrior. But anyway, this one's from Inner Blaze. Now, this one is actually a Bleed Titan, and I like the idea behind this build because it is something that can scale really well with enough damage being added into your build. And yeah, this does exactly that. So basically, he's got his full leveling guide throughout his Mobalytics link. And the idea here is you run around, you basically bleed, pop, and explode enemies, and you apply heavy stuns and all that sort of stuff. That works really well with the Titan. The big thing here is obviously the Titan's ascendancy with hulking form, being able to increase the effect of small nose. And I actually think the Titan will be really good at taking advantage of some of the new mechanics in the game because the pathing tree is changing so much. We're probably going to get a lot of really cool stuff that we can work with that's going to take advantage of that particular ascendancy point. Now, he does have a POB in his video as well, but he basically goes through all the configurations through to Hammer of the Gods configurations to be able to do huge amounts of damage. Now, obviously, this one, he does also note, isn't like a big high satisfaction instant, like one hit kill sort of build. It is one that's a bit tankier. You have to play the mechanics and you have to learn different mechanics. But I actually think that's pretty good. It's pretty much how I play builds, and it's a bit off meta as well. But yeah, anyway, it's a pretty comprehensive guide. He did make it in SSF as well, so it is workable in pretty much any scenario without the need for huge investment. Having a look at the endgame tree, there is pretty farmable stuff on there, to be honest with you. There's only one unique item at the end of the day, less soul cores, which you get from Ultimatum anyway. But yeah, either way, make sure you stop by his channel, drop him a like and a sub, and check out his build. It is pretty cool. And for those who like Warrior, it's definitely probably one to look at as well. Okay, so for the fourth build that I'm going to feature on this list, we're going to get a little bit safer here. So obviously we put a Cold Invoker Monk on the last video, and I think it's good to have a good spread of these sort of like base builds that will just work every single league. Obviously, the Lightning Invoker Monk is quite a powerful build, especially for early leveling and progression through the game, and nothing is changing this league. In fact, we could probably expect it's going to get a lot stronger than what it was previously, at least earlier on, because of the inclusion of being able to use any support gem on any skill multiple times now, which is a huge game changer for the moving forwards. Anyway, just going through Loopy's video, he's pretty much got a really good skill breakdown in here. It basically goes into great detail of how to sort of progress the build and set it up, power charge management through to passive tree. And then he's got an early game passive tree, mid game, as well moving into the end game as well. He basically fully explains that and the synergies between the ascendancies. Overall, this is just a really solid build if you still just want to stick to something that will probably work really easily. The other big thing here as well is you could take this base template build and this setup that he's got here, which works really well, and you could experiment with things like Hollow Palm, for example, or even use different setups like maces and stuff like that, which the game is sort of lending itself to being able to do now, because obviously we've got, for example, attribute reductions, mana reductions, and things like that that are being patched in, which will allow builds to take advantage of a lot more different mechanics. Primal Strikes is something that also comes to mind with this sort of configuration. So obviously you would need to make some changes to Loopy's setup, but you could also apply some of the same concepts and switch to Spears and use Primal Strike, which is also another really cool avenue that you could take with this. But as an overall, Loopy's video is really well constructed, put together, and make sure you stop by his channel, drop him a sub and a like as well. And yeah, that's number 4 that we'll feature on this list. Okay, and for the last build on this list, I'm going to feature a league starter idea from Exiled Cat. Now, obviously, he's going to move into the 0.3 league and progress this and flesh out a lot more, as he normally does with all of his builds, which are excellently put together. Now, the obvious thing here is he's going to use Explosive Shot on the Witchhunter and take advantage of obviously the huge amount of buffs that are coming across the board, as well as Witchhunter is probably going to be one of those ascendancies that's going to be a sleeper at the very start. And once people figure out how to use the Weapon Master node a lot more, it's probably going to be totally abused because, to be honest with you, it's quite strong. Other things he mentions in here is using Sorcery Ward as a key defense layer, and I agree, Sorcery Ward is absolutely amazing. and a really good inclusion into the game, though it did receive a nerf, I believe, in 0.3. But as an overall, Exile Cat's builds are generally very, very well constructed, and his videos are also very entertaining to watch. It's really interesting watching him progress through and building out a build, especially when he plays SSF. But yeah, this is definitely one to watch and maybe take some ideas from for your league starter. And yeah, this would be the 5th build that I'll feature here. And also, don't forget to stop by Exile Cat's channel and drop him a like and a sub. Just makes some absolutely excellent content. Anyway, that's the last build I'm going to feature for right now. All right, so hopefully all these videos with all the different builds give you guys some ideas on what you could league start with. Obviously, league starting is always something that's very difficult every single league, no matter whether it's Path of Exile 1 or Path of Exile 2. It's a big commitment at the very start to get into a build and play. I would probably say this is playing more experimental builds, especially in Path of Exile 2, is probably a really good idea as opposed to the same old metas. Obviously, you always get the usual guys that will come through and go, I'm only playing Lightning Arrow, Deadeye, or something like that. The reality is you should play builds that you think are fun and interesting, whether or not they fail. In particular, in an early access game like Path of Exile 2, doesn't really matter. You just re-roll your character, start again, or you just reset your character. Some other tips that I would give you if you're looking for very different builds is to go on to poe.ninja and basically look up all the different builds that are out there that people have gotten working in 0.2. The obvious exception is there are builds like Lightning Spear, which has been nerfed, which quite frankly is still going to work. Even in my research, there are some other probably notable mentions where creators I saw are running Lightning Spear, and I'll put their vid link down below in the description if you want to have a look at Lightning Spear Witchhunter, which I thought was a really cool concept. Obviously, I'm not going to do another video for curations because we're like 1 and a bit days away from the league start, and I'm going to chill out for a little bit tomorrow night. But anyway, yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there. So I'll probably say play something that you think is fun and go by the rule of cool. There's nothing wrong with playing things that look dope. Anyway, if you're a creator that, you know, for any reason you don't want to be featured on this video, then please reach out to me and I'm happy to post edit. But until next time, don't forget to like and sub to my channel as well as all the creators featured in this list. And I will see you guys in the next video and on the live stream. Have a good one all.